And welcome back to another video on Football Zone. And today, we're previewing the Premier League action this weekend. But firstly, looking back at England and how their international break fared. And in a way, they got the job done. They qualified for the Euros as a pot one seed, meaning they have the easiest group in the Euros. But few very underwhelming performances, I have to say that. Win against Malta wasn't great, but got the job done. But North Macedonia going 1-0 down, probably not rightly so. And then disappointing. Few results off that. Just not the best international break for England. They got the job done, but performances not maybe at the level we were hoping for. Moving on then to the Premier League, and we've got Man City taking on Liverpool in a huge game to kick us off after the international break, and really looking forward to this. And Man City just on top of the table, but Liverpool aren't very far behind at all, just 1 point separating the two sides. And neither side you kind of feel like bulletproof, like we have seen both these sides be in recent years. I think Man City on a good spell at the moment, Liverpool getting a big win over Brentford before that. I think Man City will be going into this one feeling pretty optimistic about getting a result, especially with the match taking place at the Etihad. I'm going to say 3-1 to City. Moving on into Burnley as they take on West Ham at Turf Moor. And Burnley just struggling so much before the international break. 6 defeats on the trot, and they desperately need that break. Hopefully a chance to reset and become the team that we know that they can be, as we've seen it last season. But moving on then to West Ham, and 2 wins on the trot and all comps before the break for them. So they're coming into it in a much better frame of mind. But maybe the break could take away some of the momentum. Who knows? But I think West Ham, even away from home, will probably have too much for Burnley here. Moving on then to Luton as they take on Crystal Palace at Kenilworth Road. And Luton, their form, I don't know, I'd say it's been pretty mixed. But, they look at the last 2 games, draw against Liverpool, came close against United. So, they are impressing, punts above their weight. But Palace lost at home to Everton last month. That was a really disappointing result. And, Kenilworth Road, we know it's an unpleasant place to play. And, I don't think they'll enjoy having to go here attempting to get a result. So, it will be an interesting one. I'm going to say Palace, though, with the quality they have, will just edge it. Moving on into Newcastle as they take on Chelsea at St James's Park. And, I can't believe this game's taking place at Saturday at 3 o'clock. No TV in the UK. What it is, what it is. But Newcastle, with the injury crisis they're having, you kind of felt like they needed this break. 2 losses in a row beforehand, but Chelsea really were gaining some momentum. That draw against Man City, beating Spurs, they were on a really, really good run, and, it felt like they were getting some momentum back. But in the end, that kind of ran out. That's kind of gone out maybe a bit over the break, and I can see Newcastle with home advantage picking up the win. Moving on into Forest as they take on Brighton at the City Ground. And Forest coming into this one, lost last time out against West Ham, I think they'd be disappointed not to get anything from that. Their form recently hasn't been too brilliant, but taking on a Brighton side who seems to be draw specialists at the moment. They are unbeaten in a while, but I think they'll be looking to turn some draws into wins, and I think they'll see this as an opportunity to get the win, and I'm going to say they will do. Moving on into Sheffield United as they take on Bournemouth at Bramall Lane, and Sheffield United coming into this one, I'm 4 points from the last 2, so that will hopefully give them some momentum going into this one. Taking on a Bournemouth side who did get that win over Newcastle. I think it's a game that both teams will kind of come into this one thinking, they've got a real chance to pick up 3 points here. So it will be interesting to see which way this goes. I'm going to say it'll be a draw. I think especially at Bramall Lane it could be a close tie. But moving on into Brentford as they take on Arsenal at the G-Tech Community Stadium. And Brentford coming into this one, that loss to Liverpool last time out was disappointing, but before that 3 wins in a row. Arsenal 2 wins in a row. I think for Brentford it's one of those games where they can just if they can just hang in there, then you never know, they've always got a chance, you probably say. This is an interesting one, but I'm going to say it will be Arsenal who pick up the win. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on into Tottenham as they take on Aston Villa at White Hart Lane. And this is a big game for Tottenham. Obviously the break could be what they needed after those 2 disappointing games just before the break, and hopefully a chance for them to get some momentum back after the disappointment of last week, all those red cards, injury issues, etc, etc. But Villa are a very tough side to play, even when you're playing them at home. I'm going to say it will be a Spurs win. I think they'll get back on track. Moving on into Everton against Manchester United. And obviously the week for Everton has been dominated by off-the-field issues, and it'll be really interesting to see how that kind of affects them heading into this one, if it has any impact at all. Could it galvanise the squad? Could it lead to demotivation, etc, etc? So many questions against Manchester United sides that really are hard to predict at the moment too. So it's a very interesting one, this one, and one I think that's very hard to call. I'm going to say it'll be a really good fight though, and I'm going to say it'll end up with 2-2. Moving on into Fulham as they take on Wolves at Craven Cottage. And yeah, Fulham coming into this one, 2 losses on the trot beforehand. Not had the best start to the season, Fulham, but Wolves picking up that win over Tottenham. I think they'll be relatively pleased. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting game. I would say 2 pretty evenly matched teams. So yeah, it's a hard one to call this one, like I say. I'm going to say that with Fulham having the home advantage, they're just going to sneak a win. I'm going to say it'll be 2-1. But anyway, guys, that's it for you. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Next time, for daily football news and subscribe to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.